Hello friends, myself Piyush Antondale, working as Assistant Professor in Electrical Engineering Department of Mahatma Gandhi Institute of Technical Education and Research Center, Navsari. My name of subject is Signal and System, which comes in 3rd year 5th sem. And today we are going to start our first chapter, that is Introduction to Signal and System, and this is the module 1 for first chapter. Now starting with flow of content. In this video we are going to see the signal and system. So that is the definition of signal, definition of system. Then after, signal and system in everyday life. So we are going to study why we require signal and system in our daily life and how we can use this subject in our daily life. And next, the classification of signal. So different classification are there for the different signals. So starting with signal, the fundamental quantity of representing some information is called as a signal. So it is a fundamental quantity which represents some information. So it have some information, then it is going to call as a signal. Then after, system, a mathematical model, a piece of code or software or a physical device or a black box whose input is a signal and it performs some process on the signal. So what is system? System is going to perform some process on the signal and output signal and give the output signal. So input signal is different from the output signal. So we are giving some amount of or some kind of input signal to our system. The system is going to perform some process on the signal, then after give us a responding or the output signal. Now what is signal? Again, the signal is a time varying physical phenomena which is intended to convey some information. So signal need to convey some information from one place to another place or from one form to another form, or signal is a function of time. Or we can also write signal is a function of one or more independent variables which contain some information. So over here, as we can see, signal is a function of one or more independent variable. So we required one or more independent variable to be considered as a signal. Let's take an example of voice signal, video signal, signal on telephone wires and etc. are the signals. Now note that noise is also a signal, but the information conveyed by the noise is unwanted. Hence it is considered as undesirable, because we can also think like noise also transfers some amount of information from one point to another point, but it is undesirable. So we can consider it as a undesirable effect. So as we can see over here in figure, we have xt. Over here, x is the dependent variable and t, that is the time, that is independent variable. Then after, we can graph or we can draw something like this. This is the sinusoidal waveform which have the value of xt. So x is the dependent variable and t is the independent variable. Now signal have two types, that is one dimensional signal and multi-dimensional signal. So what is one dimensional signal? When the function depends only on the single variable. So over, as we studied earlier, over here x is a single variable. When a function depends on a single variable, the signal is said to be one dimensional. Example of one dimensional signal is speech that right now you can hear, or signal whose amplitude varies with the time. We can say the FM radio signal which you received on your FM or which you received on your mobile, that is the one dimensional signal because it have only the audio signal. Now multidimensional image, when a function depends on two or more variable, the signal is said to be multidimensional. Okay, the example of multidimensional signal is an image because it have two dimensions. Okay, as we can see the right now screen have two dimensions, so it can be considered as a So it can consider as a multidimensional with the horizontal and vertical coordinates, right? Now, again, what is system? We need to understand system in detail. Something like system is a device or combination of device. It may be a single device or a combination of device which can operate on signal and produce corresponding response. It can produce corresponding response. Input to the system is called as an extension and output from it is called as a response. So over here, as we can see, input, that is from the signal, and output is from the system. Right now arrow is in the wrong direction. For one or more input, the system can have one or more output. So the example is communication system. Right now, as we know that if we need to call someone from one location to the another location, so let's take an example. You need to call your friend that is far away from you. So you are calling it from your mobile phone. The signal is transferring from your mobile phone, that is speech signal, to the electromagnetic wave, and it is going to transfer the signal to the tower. Then after, from the tower, it is again converted, and then after it is sent to the fiber optics cable. Through the fiber optics cable, it is going to receive to the another tower where your friend is located. At that point, the signal is again converted from fiber optics to electromagnetic wave and then send it to your friend's mobile. Then after, it is again converted from that electromagnetic wave to the voice. So this is how your signal is traveling from one point to another point. Over here, the whole system, that is the system of tower, the optical fiber, and the another end tower, all these parameters are called as a system. Okay, let's take another example of if you want to work with water, and if you need to fill up a water tank that is overhead at an overhead point and using a water pump. So at that time, what you are going to do? You are going to give electric supply to your motor. Then after, motor will rotate, and due to that rotation, the water at the ground level is going into the upward direction, and it is going to fill the water tank, right? So right now what we are doing? We are going to give some signal, that is the electrical signal, to the motor, which motor can convert to electrical to the mechanical. So right now, mechanical energy is a desirable energy to pump this water from the ground level to the first floor, so or to the overhead tank, right? So this is how we can convert our signal from one form to another form using the system. So over here, what is system? Motor and the pipe, that is our system. So next, signal and system in our daily life. So why we need to study this subject, and what is the importance of subject in our day-to-day life? Advances in technology are improving capabilities of analyzing diverse information source such as audio, that is speech, acoustic, and music. As we already know, that is the one dimensional, right? That is the one dimensional signal. And image, video, multimedia, medical scan, that is the multidimensional, right? Medical signals that are like heart rate, blood pressure, brain activity, and remote sensing data like geophysical, radar, or sonar. These all data can be analyzed with the help of signal and system. In the communication, the objective is to transfer information or signal from one point or from the one end to the many end or to the destination, which require the design of transmission scheme, that is modulation and coding, then after receiver, then after filter and all. Okay, so we require this kind of system to send our signal from one point to another point. Then after, employment opportunities range across the large varieties of the area, such as cell phone industry, fiber optic communications, ADSL and broadband cables communication, sound and audio engineering, speech recognition, medical image processing, that is X-ray, CT scan, MRI scan, PET scan. Then after, DSP hardware and software design, printing industry, digital play, CRT, LCD, plasma, Then after digital cameras and camcorders, image compression standard, that is JPEG and MPEG. So these all are the applications of signal and system in our day-to-day life. So where we are using our signal and system in our daily life. Okay, I hope all of you getting this point, why we need to study the signal and system and importance of signal and system. And I request all the students to note down every point into their class note. Okay. So next is classification of signal. Now signal are classified into the following categories. The first one, that is continuous and discrete time signal. Second, deterministic and non-deterministic signal. Third, even and odd signal. Fourth, periodic and aperiodic signal. Then after, energy and power signal, and real and imaginary signal. Now we are going to study each and every type in detail. So first, starting with continuous time signal and discrete time signal. So what is continuous time signal? A signal is said to be continuous when it is defined for all instant of time. Okay, for all instant of time, it means at any given point of time we required some kind of information. So as we can see over here figure, in the figure, we have xt signal. So x is, again, it is dependent variable, and t, time, is independent variable. And remember one thing, that is always dependent variable is on y-axis and independent variable on x-axis. So right now time t is on x-axis and xt, that is the signal, that is on the y-axis. So right now as we can see, this is something look like sinusoidal waveform. So at any given moment of time, let's say over here t1 or t2 or t3, we can get some amount of value from the continuous time signal. So it is continuous with the time, or we can say we can define all the instant of time. So we can define the value at all the instant of the time. The continuous time signal can be represented and defined at any instant of the time in its sequence. Okay, the continuous time signal is also termed as analog signal. It can be considered as an analog signal. Then after, it is continuous function of time defined on the real axis or real line r. It has continuous amplitude and time, as we already discussed. Okay, that is, the continuous time signal will have certain value at any instant of time. So the conclusion is, for the continuous time signal, it have certain value at any instant of time. If we need to take another example, we can consider as like this is your y and this is your x-axis. Right now if I am going to draw this type of signal, it is also called as a continuous signal. Right now this is your y, this is your x-axis up to infinite. Okay, over here infinite, over here also infinite, and this is zero value. So let's take this as a t, and over here minus of t. Okay, so as we can see from the another figure, we can also identify at any given moment of time we can find out the value of xt. Okay, now talking about the discrete time. A signal is said to be discrete when it is defined at only discrete instant of time. So right now over here the difference is, it is defined only at a discrete instant of the time. Okay, as we can see over here in figure, we have several amount of sampling. As we can see, several amount of sampling. So at a given moment of time only, we can define some value. In between these 2 points, we cannot identify any another value. Okay, let's take one simple example. First of all, take an example of continuous time signal. We can consider as a temperature. Suppose you need to measure the temperature using thermometer with the help of analog graph. So at any given moment of time, we can see what is the value of temperature using this kind of waveform. Okay, on the other hand, if we need to, let's say the example of measuring blood pressure of any patient. Okay, so at an interval of every 1 hour we are measuring the blood pressure of the patient. So we only get the interval of 1 hour. In between we cannot identify any another value of the patient's blood pressure, right? So it is considered as a discrete instant of the time. The discrete time signal can be represented and defined at certain instant of time in its sequence. That is, discrete time signal is able to define only at a sampling instant. Okay, it is only defined at a sampling instant. Digital signal can be obtained from the discrete time signal by quantizing and encoding the sampling values. So we can also convert analog signal to digital signal or continuous signal to discrete signal. The discrete time signals are represented with binary bits and stored in digital medium. Okay, as we know discrete time signal is a discrete instant of time, so we can store it in digital medium. Okay, I hope you understand properly the continuous time signal and the discrete time signal. So moving forward, the difference between continuous time signal and discrete time signal. So first, continuous time signal. The continuous time signal, or we can also say that CT signal. Okay, CT signal, capital C, capital T. CT signal is an analog representation of natural signal, while the discrete time signal or DT signal is digital representation of continuous time signal. The continuous time signal can be converted into discrete time signal by the Euler's method. Okay. On the other hand, the discrete time signal can be converted into continuous time signal by the method of zero order hold or first order hold. The conversion of continuous to discrete time signal is comparatively easy than the conversion of discrete to continuous time signal. The conversion of discrete to continuous time signal is very complicated, and it is done through the sampling and holding process. So over here, point number 3, from the continuous to discrete is easy because we can sample at which value we want it. Okay, but on the other hand, if we have discrete time signal, in that case the value between 2 points, that is, let's say the 1 hour and 2 hours, so value in between those are not that much predictable or not that much accurate. So it is very difficult to convert the discrete time signal to continuous time signal. Okay, next one, it is defined over a finite or infinite domain of sequence, where it is defined over a finite domain of the sequence. Fifth, that is, the value of signal can be obtained at any arbitrary point of time, that is in continuous, and the value of signal can be obtained only at a sampling instant of time. Then after, the continuous time signal are not used for processing of digital signals. The discrete time signal are used for the processing of digital signals. Okay, if we need to work with some digital system, then we need to convert our continuous time signal into the discrete time signal. The continuous time variable is denoted by the letter T, and over here the discrete time signal or variable is denoted by letter N. So we can write like, whenever we are going to write continuous time signal, we are writing x of t, and whenever we are going to write the discrete time, we are writing x of n, where n is the integer. Then after, the independent variable enclosed in the parenthesis, that is in this bracket, and on the discrete time signal, the independent variable enclosed in the bracket, that is the square bracket. Okay, so whenever we are going to write the continuous time signal, we can write x of t, that is in the parenthesis x of t, and whenever we are going to write the discrete time signal, we are going to write x of in square bracket n. Okay, I hope you understand the continuous time signal and discrete time signal. So moving forward, the deterministic signal and non-deterministic signal. The signal is said to be deterministic if there is no uncertainty with respect to its value at any instant of time. So it have any uncertainty with respect to its value at any instant of time. Okay, so this is called as a deterministic signal, or signal which can be defined exactly by the mathematical formula are known as the deterministic signal. So as we can see over here in figure, the signal is there are no uncertainty in this signal, so this is called as a deterministic signal. On the another hand, non-deterministic signal, that is a signal is said to be non-deterministic if there is uncertainty with respect to its value at some instant of time. So there is some uncertainty with respect to some instant of time. The non-deterministic signals are random in nature, hence they are called random signal because they are not deterministic and random in nature. So random signals cannot be described by mathematical equations. They are molded in probabilistic term. Okay, so as we can see over here, this is not a deterministic because the value are very uncertain. That's why it is called as a non-deterministic signal. Next, that is the even and odd value. So the even signals, a signal is said to be even signal when it satisfies the condition of x of t is equal to x of minus t. So over here, as we can see, x of t at a point, at this point we can say x of t is same is equal to x of minus t. So this kind of waveform is called as a even signal. And at the other side, or odd signal, a signal is said to be odd when it satisfies the condition x of t is equal to minus x minus t. The value is going to be minus. So over here, x of t is the value of minus x minus t. So this type of signal is called as a odd signal. And I again request you all to note down all the points regarding classification of these signals. Next is periodic signal. So a signal is said to be periodic if it satisfies the condition, that is the x of t is equal to x t plus capital T, or x of n is equal to x n plus capital N, where t is equal to fundamental time period. Okay, let's study this first of all. And again, 1 by t is equal to frequency, that is the fundamental frequency. As we can see in the figure right now, consider the value of xt is increasing in the positive direction, then after again it is going to the 0 and decreasing to the negative maximum, and again it is pointing at a 0. Then again the same cycle is repeating from this point. So it is called as a periodic because it is going to represent the same cycle again and again after every interval of t. So the value of xt is going to be same in every cycle. So over here, as we can see, xt, this is also xt, this is also xt. So x of t is equal to x t plus capital T, that is the total time of the one cycle. So this is called as a periodic signal because it is a repetitively same value of the xt. On the another side, a aperiodic signal. So the condition for aperiodic signal is like the periodic time t is not going to repeat its original value. So at that time we can consider it as a aperiodic signal. Next one, that is energy signal and power signal. Okay, the energy signal, a signal is said to be energy signal when it has finite energy because it is energy signal, so it have some amount of energy. So it is defined by energy E is equal to integration over minus infinity to infinity x square t dt. And on the another hand, power signals, that is a signal is said to be power signal when it has finite power. So power is represented as limit of t to infinite 1 by twice t integration over minus t to t x square t dt. So one thing we need to note over here is a signal cannot be both, that is energy and power simultaneously. Also a signal may be neither energy nor the power signal. Okay, and the power of energy signal is equal to 0 and the energy of power signal is infinite. So we need to consider these things in our mind and note down this in your note. Okay. Now the next one, that is the real and imaginary signals. As the name indicate, real and imaginary. So a signal is said to be real when it satisfies the condition x of t is equal to x star t, that is for the real condition. And if the signal is said to be imaginary signal if it satisfies the condition of x of t is equal to minus of x star t, that is for the imaginary condition. So here we have one example. If the x of t is equal to 3, then x of star t is equal to 3 star is equal to 3, hence because this is the real value, so the signal is real. And on the another hand, if the x of t is equal to 3j and then x of star t is equal to 3j star, so j star is equal to minus 1, so we can write like minus of 3j is equal to minus of xt, hence xt is odd signal or the imaginary signal. Now note that for a real signal, imaginary part should be 0 and simultaneously for the imaginary part, the real part should be 0. And these are some questions that are very important with respect to your examination that we have covered in this video lecture. Okay, and in next video we will also continue our first chapter. If you have any questions, then please feel free to ask me in comment section. Thank you.